Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey friends, welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome. Throughout this series, we've been unpacking a lot, and we have been unpacking a lot of the subconscious patterns that shape not only our health, but the way we show up in business and our relationships and just life in general. And you've made it to the last episode in this series, and we're talking about something that isn't often discussed, in my opinion, in the world of success and entrepreneurship and high performance and high performing women. And it's how your energy, your nervous system, and your deep subconscious beliefs and about worthiness impact your ability to create and your ability to lead. And I think a lot of times we, and I say we just as the collective, think that the key to success is just doing more, but it's really about mastering your energy. And that's what I want to talk about today. So by the end of this episode, I want you to understand why hustling and overworking are actually blocking your expansion and blocking your ability to create and lead in your life, whether it's in a business, your career, or just your family, your life, right? How your nervous system and mineral balance affect your leadership and your ability to receive success effortlessly, and how healing the worthiness wound, we're going to talk about this, allows you to step into this new paradigm of success, one that's built on energy and alignment and ease, which is really exciting. So let's first start with before I really start, I want to say this again. I'm going to say it 2 times in this episode. I'm going to mention the magic word again. If you missed it in episode 4 or you haven't listened to it yet, you're about to hear it now. You're going to need this magic word for a little bonus. The magic word is expand. So remember that. Now let's jump in. So let's talk about why the old paradigm of hustle, this hustle culture paradigm, is keeping you stuck. There is the conditioning around success, right? Conditioning around success says success equals hard work. And for most of our lives, we've been conditioned to believe that success requires effort and struggle and just moving and doing nonstop action. If you're not grinding, you don't want it bad enough. If you have to, I'll sleep when I'm dead. You have to sacrifice sleep and rest and play if you want to succeed. And the more hours you put in, the more money and impact you'll make, right? Here is the truth. This model was never designed for women. That's it. It wasn't designed for women. Women's hormonal energetic rhythms are not built for constant linear productivity. We are not designed physiologically. We are not designed to produce the same output every single day, day in, day out. We're not. We run on a 28-day hormonal cycle. Men run on a 24-hour hormonal cycle. So this hustle culture, as I've mentioned in plenty of episodes before, it was created by men for men. It was not made for women. And studies show that women experience higher rates of burnout than men, largely due to this conditioning around overgiving, perfectionism, and the need to prove themselves and do it the same day, all day, every day, 24/7, 365. Right? There's a Harvard study that found that women tend to work longer hours than men in high achieving roles, but experience higher stress levels from exhaustion. And I really, really, really believe that that's because of this, because we're going against our natural design, our natural hormonal rhythms, and we're pushing and forcing, and we're not meant to do that. Women, we have magic inside of us. Like, we are so powerful, and we have magic inside of, we are not meant to do things like everybody else. We're not meant to do things like men. So this belief system leads to chronic exhaustion, hormonal imbalances, to burnout, and also feeling disconnected and even resentment towards their business or their career, their life, despite doing all the things. Like, I'm doing everything, but they just feel disconnected, or even maybe a sense of apathy. If you've ever felt just apathetic about it, knowing that I'm doing what I'm meant to do, but I feel apathetic about it. So how does this show up in your body? When you're operating from a place of, I have to prove my worth through achievement, your nervous system is constantly on high alert. We talked about in the last episode. So your body is constantly running on adrenaline. Your cortisol is spiking. Your minerals like magnesium, potassium, and sodium are being depleted every day, with potentially you not replenishing those, right? So chronic stress is a huge cause of magnesium deficiency and depletion, magnesium depletion.
This is a crucial mineral for so many things happening in the body: nervous system regulation, energy production, emotional stability. This affects how we are showing up emotionally and mentally. Magnesium is affecting all of those things. High levels of cortisol have been linked to reduced cognitive function, increased inflammation, decrease ability to regulate emotions, right? Cortisol can cause us to remember, I talked about in that last episode how it affects how our brain, like what part it's turning off, that part of the brain that helps with rational thought and emotional regulation. It's turning on the reptilian brain that's like fight, flight, freeze. That's it. That's all I know. So hustling harder, doing more doesn't bring more success. It just brings more depletion, bottom line. And if your body is in survival mode, your business or your career, it will be too. Success is not about doing more. It's not a hustle game. It's an energy game. It's about your energy. There is an energy around leadership. And if you're looking at the most magnetic and powerful and successful leaders, they aren't burning themselves out to succeed. If women, I should say women, right? Let's not compare ourselves to the men out there that are doing this. They're not burning themselves out to succeed. They're moving with intention. They're prioritizing their energy over their to-do list. They create from a place of trust and not from a place of force and pushing. And this is the real difference between energy-led success and hustle-driven success, and being able to enjoy yourself while you're building your success. So when your nervous system is regulated and your minerals are balanced, you have more clarity, you have more confidence in your decision making, you're showing up with more magnetism, with ease, instead of pushing and forcing things to happen. You're attracting aligned clients, aligned opportunities, money, right? Financial stability, because your energy is stable and expansive. So this is how it affects your leadership, right? So let's look at the mineral imbalances here, because I want to talk about, we've talked about nervous system dysregulation and nervous system regulation, the opposite of that, and how the regulation part is this foundation for leading from this place of ease and expansion instead of burnout. But the minerals are this other layer that's overlooked. You know, I love to talk about minerals, but I want to talk about how minerals are affecting your behavior and your ability to lead, because this is the other thing that isn't talked about enough about minerals. We think about minerals affecting kind of the physical processes of the body, but it's also affecting our mental processes, our emotional processes. Minerals, as I've mentioned before, just a little refresh. Minerals are the spark plugs of the body. So it fuels everything. Literally every reaction in the body starts with a mineral, whether it's the cofactor, the catalyst, it requires minerals. So everything from brain function to emotional resilience, minerals are required for all of that. So when key minerals are imbalanced, they can shift the way you respond to stress, the way you make decisions, and even interact with how, or affect how you interact with people around you, whether it's your team, your family, your clients, whoever it is. There's a lot of research on this, that there are mineral imbalances that are linked to things like anxiety, impulsivity, decision fatigue, self-doubt. So I want to look at some of the key players here. First, there's calcium. Calcium. Okay, this happens. I'm going to call this the overwhelmed leader, right? High calcium levels create what's called a calcium shell. I have a whole episode about this, where you emotionally shut down, become detached, or struggled with analysis paralysis or decision paralysis. So the overwhelmed leader has high calcium, right? And I've had clients literally, I've told this story before, but I'll say it again, who literally thought she was about to get on medication for ADHD. Okay, I for sure have ADHD, and did her HTMA. Her calcium, I don't know if I've ever had I think I had one other client with calcium that high. It was insane, like insanely high. So we did the mineral balancing, did some gut stuff. She didn't have ADHD, right? We just got rid of her calcium shell. Low calcium is another thing. This can contribute to hypersensitivity, making you feel really easily triggered or really reactive in certain situations, especially, right? Think about how that would affect your leadership, affect you in a leadership situation. Magnesium. Magnesium is the burnout buffer. It helps with burnout. Low magnesium, which is the majority of us, let's be honest, means less stress resilience. So this is going to lead to overreacting to challenges or stressful situations, feeling easily depleted, struggling with boundaries. That's another one that can help, because your defenses are kind of down, right? Magnesium is crucial for nervous system regulation, and without it, you're more prone to running on adrenaline instead of grounded energy. So the low magnesium, and I feel like this is such because it's kind of like this vicious cycle. And I don't know, it's probably a chicken or egg situation because I feel like this is the reason so many women, well, people, but especially women are running with burnout is so many of us are depleted in magnesium. We're not getting enough from it from our food because our soils are depleted in magnesium. And if you're not supplementing with it and not supplementing the right way, we're just so deficient in it. It's just, I feel like it's just perpetuating the burnout cycle because you're more prone to running on adrenaline. And then, two, your body, when you start to run on adrenaline, there can be this like chemical dependence on it. It's like a drug sometimes. When we get used to running on adrenaline, we can get in the pattern where our body's like, oh, I need more, right? It gets like this hit, like a drug from it. And so, again, it's just perpetuating the cycle. Magnesium is the buffer there that we need. Sodium and potassium, these are the leadership balance minerals. I'm going to call them the leadership balance minerals. High sodium and low potassium makes you overly reactive. It can make you anxious. It can make you frustrated, like quick to get frustrated or quick to get just overreactive, right? To just react too quick. And low potassium too can also make you feel irritable and just kind of on edge with people. And so this can make you, right? Think about how that affects how you're showing up for your team or for your audience or for your clients or whoever it is that you're working with. Low sodium and high potassium can create chronic fatigue and brain fog, lack of motivation. This can make it hard to take action, right? You're just it's kind of that free state, like I talked about, where you're just kind of like, ugh, and this kind of just, I can't get up and do the thing. So that's sodium, potassium. Copper, it's the last one I want to mention here. This is, I'm going to call this the unstable confidence mineral. Excess copper can lead to racing thoughts. And this is a big one. I have a whole episode on copper too. So you can go back and listen to that if you're curious about the copper. Excess copper can lead to racing thoughts, emotional instability, feeling very easily overwhelmed. And if it's really high with copper, it can also lead to this kind of emotion, being super emotionally reactive. And it can also can be like a numbness that happens. So a lot of high performing women unknowingly have hidden copper toxicity that's causing them to feel scattered, anxious, and even like having that imposter syndrome creep in because it's affecting how you're operating mentally and makes you doubt yourself. That's how copper is interacting with how you're showing up. And I always wonder that too. I always wonder, I feel like there should be lots more studies on this. Women who deal with imposter syndrome, like I want to do their minerals to see like how is the copper contributing to that? Because copper really can affect how you be. It's affecting your mood and your mental state and your emotional state. I feel like copper and calcium probably have the biggest effect on that for multiple reasons that I won't go into today because it's kind of irrelevant right now, but just the fact that they do. Too little copper, there's is so such also a thing as too little copper can lead to low energy, lack of creative drive, and just feeling disconnected from your purpose. And so we need, there's a healthy balance of copper. And when it's dysregulated, I find that for women, especially the too much is typically more common than the too little, but I definitely have had clients that have had too little. So it's a thing. It definitely shows up and it's affecting how you're able to show up and how your connection to your drive and your purpose. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And it's affecting your leadership. So this is the conversation I want to bring to you. Your leadership and your leadership energy starts at a cellular level. Your minerals are literally affecting your ability to lead effectively, optimally, in the best way. So if you've ever been stuck in cycles of overwork and self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, burning out, it's not just about mindset. The way you feel in leadership, the clarity of your decisions, the energy behind your creativity, the way you handle stress, all of this is shaped by what's happening in your body on a cellular level with your minerals in conjunction with all the subconscious things that we've talked about. This is a complex thing. I don't want to say I don't want to overcomplicate it and make it like, oh, it's going to be so hard to undo. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying it's not a simple fix. It's not a simple fix. It's a compound compound issue. And this is why functional health and nervous system regulation are just as important as strategy in your business and strategy in your working life as a high performing woman, because you don't need you don't need a new plan, you don't need a new strategy. You need a body that's capable of holding the level of success that you're stepping into and approaching your health from a functional perspective and prioritizing nervous system regulation. I would say is even more important than the strategy, because if you aren't able to back that up with your energy, it doesn't matter what strategy you're using. So when you replenish your minerals, when you recalibrate your nervous system, you're not just healing your body, you're shifting into the version of you that is able to lead with ease and with magnetism and with clarity. And even if you don't have a business, even if you're listening to this, you don't have a business, this applies to your life, being the leading lady of your life, right? Leading your life as the main character, that main character energy, that's kind of like a buzzword here, I feel like lately. Be the main character of your life. And you do this with ease and magnetism and clarity when you're able to approach this from this functional, holistic perspective. Your minerals, your nervous system, the subconscious work, rewiring the patterns, all of this is part of the healing that allows you to transition into the leader of your own life. So now that you understand the connection between your minerals, your nervous system, leadership, I want to talk about how you can kind of shift into this energy led leadership that I'm talking about. And I want to first talk about what this new paradigm of success looks like and when you lead from this energy. And it starts with healing the worthiness wound. Okay? So many high achieving women are operating from this subconscious belief that they have to earn their success. And you might be one of them. That your value is tied to your productivity, your achievements, your ability to hold everything together and do it while you look sexy. Like we got to look good while we do it. And this belief system isn't just exhausting, it's actively working against the success and the ease and the expansion that you actually desire, because it's not how we are designed to operate. So how do we heal this? How do we heal this worthiness wound? And why is it so hard to shift for women? This is such a big one, and it usually requires so much untangling. The worthiness wound runs deep. It starts in childhood. We've talked about that before in the first or second episode, and it's reinforced by societal conditioning. And then it gets locked into our nervous system through years of living it out, right? Of proving and overgiving and overworking, and we just perpetuate it. So as young girls, we are praised for being helpful and responsible, for high achieving. We get rewarded for our achievements. We learn that love and validation and success come when we perform rather than for being, right? For what we do rather than who we are being. In business, we're taught that more action equals more results. And so we need to take more action. I'm just not taking enough action. But what if the opposite of all of that was true? The more we tie our worth to our output, the harder it becomes to slow down, the harder it becomes to trust ourselves, and the harder becomes to receive success with ease. And once we tie success into hard work, it's that much harder to untangle. And I have neuroscience to back this up. I'm going to bring receipts like I do with all the other episodes. I got some facts. Our brains create automatic responses based on past experiences. So if you've spent years believing that your value comes from how much you do, your nervous system is going to go into a stress response when you try to do the opposites. When you try to slow down, when you try to rest, when you try to receive. Remember, I had that episode about receiving. That is going to be an automatic stress response in your body because you've wired it that way. It's as I said in episode 4, it's a rewiring issue. Slowing down, resting, receiving does not feel safe to the body. And so immediately you go into a stress response. So how do we break this cycle and actually start feeling safe leading from energy instead of from the hustle? There are key shifts that I want to mention to you that can help rewire your nervous system. 3 of them I want to mention to you today. First, regulate before you reach for your results. So if your body is still running on stress hormones and stuck in survival mode, no amount of strategy, planning, doing, ambition is going to change how you feel. And this is why I've said in an email or a post, I think both, of how I recognize that ambition was like a stress or was a trauma response. I think we do that. We use our ambition. Oh no, I'm just ambitious, but it's just a trauma response because we don't feel safe to slow down. So before you try to push through the exhaustion, ask yourself, am I making this decision from a place of expansion, or am I making it from urgency or scarcity? Right? Expansion feels like this openness in the body. It feels light and open and airy, and ooh, that's how it feels. Urgency and scarcity feels restrictive, tight, heavy. That's how it feels in the body. Does my body feel safe holding this next level of success? If the answer is no, your first step isn't doing more. That's going to perpetuate what's already happening. It's regulating your nervous system and then replenishing minerals, right? We have to work on the physical part too. So your body can hold the next level of expansion. We have to build the vessel being your body. We have to build that vessel to be strong to hold what you're doing next. Number two, shift from earning to receiving, right? We've talked about the receiving in part 3 of this series. Women are conditioned to be givers, right? To pour into their business, their clients, their families, everything without ever receiving to themselves. We are conditioned to be the nurturers, the caretakers. But true leadership requires an equal exchange of leadership. It's not just giving all the time. It's not being the martyr, sacrificing everything for everybody else. That's not true leadership. True leadership is an exchange of energy. And I want you to let that part sink in, because I think that's so much where, we want to be the leader of our life. We want to be the leader in our business, in our job, our career, whatever it is. But if we're constantly sacrificing ourselves, there's no way for you to step into that. It's not a reciprocal thing, right? There's that equal exchange of energy doesn't exist. So if receiving still feels uncomfortable, here's a way you can shift this. Every time you receive something, whether it's a compliment, you get help, you get support, you get rest, you're receiving rest, I'm receiving abundance, receiving love. Give yourself a chance to pause and fully take it in. Like really receive it. Think we just gloss over things sometimes and just let it pass, like, oh yeah, I'm grateful, and move on. But like really receive it. Really let yourself take it in and let yourself feel it without deflecting or justifying, or here's a big one, thinking about how you need to repay it. And I know that's a big one for a lot of women. Like you're constantly thinking, okay, well, how am I going to repay them because they just helped me do this thing? Don't even think about it. Just receive it and be grateful for it. Feel the gratitude in your body and let yourself receive. The more you train your nervous system to receive without resistance, without constriction or scarcity, the more success, energy, opportunities, all that's going to flow to you with less effort, less force. You're training your nervous system to receive without that resistance, without that restriction or contraction in the body. Third one I want to mention to you, last one here about helping your body, shifting your nervous system, is redefining success as a feeling and not an outcome, right? So I think a lot of us as women have been conditioned to chase, well, just people, humans, to chase the external markers of success, the money, the clients, the visibility, the opportunities. That's how we're measuring success. And I will say this is probably the hardest one for me. And I'm still working on reprogramming this part of me. This is a hard one because that's what we've been told. That's a measure of success, right? The more money you make, visibility, the opportunities, the people, right? That's how you measure success. But if we really want to talk about success and sustainable success, I think that's also a key word, sustainable success. It's not about hitting these arbitrary numbers or milestones. It's about how you feel as you move through the journey. How are you feeling along the way? How are you feeling on the journey through life and through business? And who are you becoming on the journey? Rather than just hitting the milestones, who are you becoming? And I really believe that I can't say I believe that like God tests you. I don't really know if that's I don't really think I believe that. But I do think that oftentimes the same lesson comes up over and over again for this reason, to help. God's way of showing you like, hey, I want you to get the wisdom and the lessons and be able to enjoy the journey rather than just trying to hit these markers and hit these benchmarks or hit these milestones. I want you to get the learnings and the wisdom and grow and evolve as a human and for you to actually enjoy the process. So instead of asking yourself, what do I need to achieve? What if we ask yourself, what does success feel like in my body? Like, how do I cultivate that feeling in the body right now? How does it feel in the body? And how do I want to experience my next level of expansion? Because the other thing is, if you're not enjoying the current level of expansion right now and like how that's happening, why the heck is God going to give you more? Like if you're miserable about it, why would he give you more, right? Why would you get to the next level? You don't want it. Your body's like, no, I don't want more of this. I want to feel good about it. So I think this is an important question for us to ask ourselves in this journey of expansion and growth is how do you want to feel in that next level of expansion? If it's not how you feel now, we need to fix what's going on now, right? Which is that rewiring process. So when you lead from a place of internal alignment, your external results are going to just naturally expand. It's just going to be a natural experience because your body and your nervous system aren't fighting against you anymore, right? Your body and your nervous system, we're all on board. We're all on the same page, so we can get there just naturally without pushing. So the truth is, we are all inherently worthy. And I know that sounds so like "Ugh," to say, like, okay, but you are worthy. And as Melanie and Lair says, you are worthy and nothing has changed. The work isn't about earning worthiness. It's about rewiring your nervous system to actually finally believe it. That's the work. That you are worthy and you were born worthy and nothing has changed. So when your body and your mind and your energy are all aligned with that truth, success that you're looking for stops feeling like something that you have to chase and it starts feeling like something that you can just attract to you. It just magnetizes to you. So I want to share a quick story about a client of mine. And she was, I'm going to call her the spiritual skeptic. I put that I put that in my notes because that's what came to me about her. She's so sweet. And she was my spiritual skeptic, but she was also spiritually curious because I offered her, it was when I started doing my quantum healing sessions and I wanted her to try it out. And she's like, yeah, sure, I'm open to it. But she was very successful, had a very high demand job, and she came to me completely burned out, completely burned out. She was doing well in her job, but behind the scenes, she was just exhausted. She was inflamed. She felt a little disconnected from her purpose and what she was here to do. And her hormones were kind of all over the place. And that was kind of the big thing for her. She wanted to fix her hormones and her energy. The energy was the big piece. And there was, hormonal stuff. And she just wanted to feel good. Like she wanted to feel good and actually enjoy the job that she knew she was called to do. She enjoyed, like I said, she enjoyed her job. It wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this work that's soul sucking. She enjoyed it, her work, but just didn't feel super connected to it because she just felt so drained. And there was so much in the quantum healing sessions that we did around her untangling her worth from her productivity. And that's where we found like the root of her burnout. Because I mean, she was definitely in full on burnout, but it was really about untangling that piece. Yes, there was a lot of nervous system work that we needed to do to really rebalance and calibrate her nervous system, but it was this belief. And she had this like big realization. We did one of the sessions together that her worth really was tied up to her productivity and how much she was doing. And because she would stay late, she would work late, she'd get there early, like she was just working all the time and just trying to prove whatever it was she was trying to prove. And that was really good. And now she was able to heal her body and her energy, and now she's about to have a baby. I mean, it was, and she wasn't in a place, her body, and her and her husband want to start a family, but she wasn't in a place to do that. I just realized how many people how many clients are now pregnant that I just realized that. I told you another story about another client in another episode. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like these clients is a perfect example, perfect illustration. These clients of mine who wanted to build families with their partners, your body's not prioritizing reproduction when it's in fight or flight. It can't. It literally can't. It's not going to make a baby. It's trying to keep you alive. So for her too, she was in complete fight or flight. She was really more freeze, but she's in that sympathetic state. Her nervous system was just fried. So of course her body's not going to prioritize making a baby. Of course. So it's really that combination again, as I've mentioned in all these stories that I've told you, clients. It's that combination of the physical, the nervous system work, the rewiring, all of that working together. So I want to give you one practice here, as I've been doing in all the episodes, and then we'll wrap it up. He'll wrap up this series. This simple practice to really shift into that energy led leadership that I'm talking about. So becoming that magnetic leader. So if you're not driving, then you can do this, but I want you to take a deep breath and kind of get yourself centered and close your eyes, kind of get in a comfortable spot and ask yourself with your eyes closed, what would the most energized, aligned, and powerful version of me look like? And I want you to visualize that. I want you to visualize yourself leading with ease, attracting opportunities and clients, and showing up from this place of deep self trust. Can you visualize that and see yourself, actually see yourself? Maybe it's a specific scene that your mind wants to play out. And as you imagine this and visualize it, and you're taking in some deep breaths here to really let it sink into your cells. As you're exhaling, release the need to push or prove or force. Just let all of that go. So just as you're visualizing it, you're breathing in that feeling of like ease and flow, and you're breathing out the need to push or force or prove. And you're saying, you could say in your minds, or say out loud, here's your mantra for this one. I allow success to come to me effortlessly. I am worthy of ease. I allow success to come to me effortlessly. I am worthy of ease. And I want you to feel, as I've mentioned in these practices that I've given you in all of these episodes of this series, I want you to feel, to recognize how that feels in your body. That I allow success to come to me effortlessly and I'm worthy of ease. If you feel a restriction or contraction in the body, there's a big sign, right? There's a big sign that there's something there that needs to be released and untangled. And that you clearly have some of those subconscious beliefs that it's not easy, and that it has to be hard and has to be work and it has to be proved, right? You have to prove it to get it. So do this with intention. Maybe do it again before you go to bed at night, but the visualization is always good. And then attaching that mantra to it and allow yourself to feel what comes up for you when you say that. And maybe you do say it out loud. Maybe you say it out loud and see what comes up for you. So remember, the magnetism and the ease that you're looking for isn't about doing, it's about being. And the more aligned your energy is, the more the success that you're dreaming for, that you're longing for, is going to flow to you. It's about aligned energy. And as we wrap up this series, I have loved bringing this series to you in this conversation because I feel like this is a really powerful conversation that we're not talking about enough, and especially linking it to our physical, emotional, mental health and wellness. It's a big one. And if you made it to the end of this episode and end of this series, I know that this message is resonating with you and has resonated with you. And you're already doing the deep work. You're already shifting how you lead. You're shifting how you're showing up, and you are allowing success. You want to allow success to flow into your life with ease. But if you're ready to go even deeper and actually integrate this into your body, start that rewiring process to get it into your cellular being, right? Rewire your DNA and your energy and nervous system. This is your invitation to take the next step. And my energy reboot sessions are designed for you, for women who are ready to stop leading from burnout and start leading from alignment, right? We want to get into that energy of leadership. So we map out your unique energy blueprint so you know exactly where your body is depleted. We uncover your subconscious patterns that are keeping you in this cycle of overworking, overdoing, overachieving, and proving. And then we create this custom recalibration plan. So success and expansion and ease actually feel safe for your body to hold. And I feel like that's the biggest piece. We're helping build that safety in the body. So this expansion, this success, actually, you can hold it. Your body feels safe doing it. So if you've been listening closely, there's a special bonus waiting for you, right? So remember the magic word is expand. This is how you unlock this listener only bonus that I have for you. So the magic word that I dropped in this episode, you remember that? You can DM me that word on Instagram, or if you're not on Instagram, just email me the word, just the word. and let me know that you found it. And then when you book your energy reboot session or sessions, depending on which package you choose to do, you're going to unlock the energy expansion toolkit. So remember that includes a guided nervous system recalibration audio to help you shift into ease and flow and joy, a personalized energy mapping assessment to see where burnout is showing up in your body. And then you get 7 days of private Telegram with me, Telegram support, where we can integrate everything even deeper. And then speaking of Telegram, I have something very special coming after this series. And this is going to be a private place where we can take these conversations even deeper. So if you DM me your biggest takeaway from this series, whether it's this episode or any of the ones that you've listened to, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what's coming and send you an exclusive bonus when we launch, which is going to be within the next week. So if you're not on my email list, you're going to want to be. I'll post on social media as well. But I know, just trust me, you're going to want to be in this space and you're going to be in. So DM me your takeaways so you can get access to that little bonus gift when we launch. And then, of course, DM me the magic word if you want to get access to that energy expansion toolkit when you join the energy reboot session or sessions. And we can just talk through the options there. I can send you the two. There's just two options. There's not a lot. So I can send you the two options and you can choose which one was going to support you the best, basically whichever level of support you feel is going to serve you best. And I am so excited to leave you with this series. And I cannot wait to hear from you, from your takeaways and your ahas and what's moving through you, and for you to really start to untangle this in your body, because I know it's going to make the most profound changes in your life. And even if you're listening and you don't have a business, you don't have a career, you don't have to have a business or a career for this to apply, for this to affect how you're living and affect how you're growing and evolving as a human. And I think this, as I said, this conversation, you have the opportunity right now to heal generations before you who have lived their lives completely attaching their worth to their output, and the emotional baggage that brings about, and the emotional baggage that you were born with because of that. Like, you have the opportunity now. And I have an episode coming later in a couple months about generational healing. So we'll talk about that. But you have the opportunity now to start and to shift into a new paradigm for generations to come. You have an opportunity to heal past and future generations by doing this work within yourself now and shifting the way that we see our worth and our worthiness as women. We are not talking about this enough, and we're not talking about how much this affects our well-being, our emotional, physical, mental well-being. This is the conversation we need to be having right now. We as women are worthy, and we are worthy of so much. And this conditioning is holding so many women back from doing huge things in their life, huge things with their business, their career, their families, it's holding you back. So let's keep this conversation going. Go DM me the keywords, DM me all the things, DM me your takeaways so you can get into this next level. I want to keep this conversation going and helping you, your past and future generations, heal from this and shift into this new paradigm where we as women can own our worthiness, and we can shift our focus to who we're being versus what we're doing, and we can really change the world. So I'm here for it, and I'll see you in the next episode, and I'll see you online.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's @TheHopePedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.